All right. Hello and welcome to FA209 Painting 1 Supplies. We have a lot of supplies to get through, and you're going to need to have all these. So let's start with mediums and paints. So first one that I really like is the Neo Megilp. I usually call it Neo Meg. It's made by Gamblin, and I think I put that in the kit. It is a jelly-like medium, and versus acrylic or watercolor, when you want to spread your paint out, you need to use medium. And when you want to thin it out, you use spirits. So I have some Gamsol, which is a Gamblin brand as well, of odorless mineral spirits. You can choose to go different ways. There is a non-solvent, so the solvents are toxic. And you can choose to not do that, so you can pick different types of these. But for the kit, I just picked what I normally do. So Neo Meg is the first one. As we go through, we're going to look at some different kinds. Liquid Impasto is another. This is in a tube. It's kind of thicker and creamier. But the next thing we want to really look at is paints. There's a whole bunch of different kinds of paints here. You have Utrecht, you have Weber, you have Rembrandt, you have Williamsburg, you have Vasari, you have Old Holland, you have Holbein. These are all good. I don't actually have any Gamblin brand out at the moment, and I don't have any of the ones that are in the kit. So I picked a range of colors, and you can see them on the screen here, that are in a kit together. These are the Gamblin 1980 set, and it gives you a whole range, and it also comes in a little cradled box. And if you're going to buy that, you have all the colors that you're going to need. If you have your own colors or you're looking for your own colors, what you're going to need to buy, you very much need at least a dark blue, a dark red, like alizarin crimson, a bright yellow, black and white, and probably a dark brown. So dark brown is not in the set that you buy, but it is also in the kit. So I usually like to recommend burnt umber. You can find some prices for even better quality paints on Amazon, and I'll put these up here so you can see them. But as far as the bookstore goes and what they're able to share with us, these are the best set that I could buy for the right price. So those are your colors. What you're going to do is end up mixing your colors. You're going to choose, in the kit, I put, not this big, a giant wood palette. I like painting on wood and mixing my paint on wood. I think it works best. Any old scrap piece of wood will work. But besides that, your other option would be to use a paper palette. This is a gray paper palette. I think this works. The trick about a paper palette is I think you end up wasting and throwing away a lot of paint that you might be able to use more than once. If we put our paints out on a Tuesday, you might be also able to use those for the rest of the week. And if you're throwing them away after every time you paint, you might be throwing away a lot of paint. I don't have any out right now, but you may not need it. A palette cup is something that's nice to have. You know, it's a small metal cup and it holds your medium and your Gamsol in there. You can also put it to the side of your paint, and you'll see that in a lot of the demonstration videos. For mixing paint, if you want, this is an option. This is not in the kit. It is a palette knife. These are nice if you want to be very precise and control how you mix your paint. I am usually much more often going to just use my brushes. So the first brush that you really need to have is a long handle bristle So that means hog hair. And this is a number 3 or a number 4 filbert. So the filbert has the almond shape, and it has just the right amount of push. With the almond shape, you can get a thin line in one direction, and you can get a wider line in the other. And you can do smaller details because it has that almond rounded shape versus, let's see if we have here is a flat that has a flatter end. I do recommend that you have a soft hair brush, like a watercolor type of brush. This one here is Badger. It's very soft. And that can help you to do some blending. So you could have a round or a flat or something like that. But if you only could get 2 brushes, and this is what's in the kit, it's 2 filberts, and that's what I want you to have. One for lights, one for darks. That's the best bet. This is not in the kit, but some rags, some cut up. These are some old sheets that I cut up for the kids. You'll need those. Cut up t-shirt also works. And then we're going to talk about canvases. So these 11 by 14 canvas boards are ideal for this class. So this is a piece of cardboard that they have put paper on the back, and they put acrylic coated canvas on top. So that is something that you want to have. What I did with the bookstore is I ordered 2 sets. There are 5 boards in each set, so that should cover you for the class. If you're buying your own, you're only going to need about 7 or 8 of them. But then we have some paintings at the end, and you might choose to pick a stretched canvas. Stretched canvases are the ones that have the canvas on them and they're stapled on the back. This one is a hexagon rather than a regular rectangle. But what I'd like you to have is a 2 16 by 20 canvases after you have the 7 or 8 of the canvas panels. The canvas panels, they used to sell them in groups of 3, and that was great. And they should cost you something between $1 and $2. If you're paying $4 or $5 per panel, you're paying too much. So you may want to double check and see if you can find some at Walmart or Michael's or something like that. The larger the canvas, the better. And you can always go bigger than what I'm asking you to do, but for the start, I want you to just stick with this 11 by 14. I do think that you want to have a sketchbook. So I just have these tone tan sketchbooks from Strathmore. They have 400 series paper in them, and they're great for just drawing out your ideas. I am going to make you do a sketch or 2 for some of the projects as we kind of move along through the different approaches to painting. You're going to need stuff to draw with, but whatever you like to draw with is fine. Pencil, colored pencil, brush pen, regular pen, charcoal would even work, as long as it doesn't smear up on you too much. Anytime if you would rather paint on wood than canvas panels, then you're welcome to do that. You'd have to cut them to size for yourself. And then the last thing that I think I'll talk about before we end this really quickly is the required textbook, which is The Complete Oil Painter by Brian Gorst. It is a nice walkthrough of all the different parts about painting. It's something that you can always kind of refer back to, and it has stuff on safety and types of pigments and brushes and approaches. So it's a very well-rounded book, and I've been using it almost since I started painting and teaching here at MVCC. All right, well, we'll see you in the next video.